Hello, world. This is Louise Hicks, your host of Aim to Purpose Spiritual Empowerment Hour. And I'm going to bring you it's been breaking news for a few days now about Candace Owens being sued by none other than the French president and his wife for defamation of character. And let me just go ahead and share with you a little bit from Candace Owens herself about what's going on. Give you just a little preview. And please share this video because we want to see what will happen with this lawsuit. Pretty interesting because Candace says she's out to save the world from perverts. So let me share with you a little bit here and give you a little prelude to what Miss Candace has to say. So let's take a listen.
The life of Candace Owens, it works like this. I wake up, I stretch, I have a cup of coffee, and then I am served with a lawsuit. I think that's the morning routine, my friends. That is clearly my morning routine. It is so effortless. And today I have been sued by the first lady man of France. So let's just go, guys. Let's just go. Welcome back to Candace. You know what? It's one of my favorite movies, and there may never be a more appropriate time in my life for me to roll this clip. So let's roll it.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
That's why you're here. That's why you're here. That's how I feel right now. Me receiving my papers today. By the way, another lovely individual who delivered those papers to me. I really got to say.
As you can see, I'm going to stop sharing just for a moment here. And we'll get back. Just wanted to share a couple of thoughts. Candace is appearing to be excited about being handed her papers. And pretty interesting. And I watched the entire episode. However, I'm not going to share the entire episode. If you'd like to see it, just go to her podcast, Candace Owens, and you can check out the entire podcast. But I did a podcast when Candace Owens was on the Breakfast Club. And it was pretty interesting because if all of you know about Candace Owens, once upon a time, she was out to destroy the Black community. She had pretty much nothing to say but negativity about the Black community. And then when she was fired from the Daily Wire because allegedly she had conflict with the co-founder, Shapiro, Ben Shapiro. And that led to her firing. And she said she was free at the time. So she started her own podcast. And if you know, she has a great following, millions. I believe it's about 4.5 million followers. So she has lots of followers. But this is interesting because she started a series about this couple, president of France, Emmanuel Macron, and Brigitte Macron. And she decided that she was going to do this series on them because she is making accusations that Brigitte is a man. And she did a series, and you'll hear a little bit about it. But let me read to you a little clip I got from CBS News by Melissa Quinn, where it says, French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife, Brigitte Macron, filed a defamation lawsuit against right-wing podcast host Candace Owens on Wednesday in response to claims She peddled that France's first lady was born a man. The 22-count complaint was filed in Delaware Superior Court and seeks an unspecified amount of damages from Owens, who broadcast an 8-part series spreading a host of allegations about the Macrons, including that Brigitte Macron, or Macron, I believe it's pronounced Macron, was born a man, stole another person's identity, and transitioned to a woman. So these are the allegations that Candace is indicating that this series that she decided to do is based on. And the lawsuit was filed in Delaware by the French president, Emmanuel. Not sure why it was filed there, but it probably had its reasons, I suppose, for being filed in Delaware. So let's get back to Miss Owens and see what else she has to say. And this is going to be a pretty brief video because I just wanted to share with my audience, and I'd like to thank my audience as well for being followers, subscribers. Please subscribe, share, leave your comments by all means. Give it a like because it's interesting. And it appears she's excited about the lawsuit. So let's carry on here and continue as to what Ms. Owens has to say. Let me bring it back up here and we will get the video done. Let me stop the share because it's not sharing. So give me a moment here and let me start back over here with sharing. For some reason, it stopped. But we'll bring it back.
Lawsuit against a journalist of another country. You are literally making history in all the wrong ways. And I want to be very clear here right at the top that this is obvious, very clear that it is an obvious and desperate public relations strategy. That's what this is. Where do we even begin? Okay, so let's rewind this. In case you're new here, a few weeks ago, Brigitte finally lost her defamation claim against 2 journalists, which was taking place for years, by the way, over in France. It was the most viral story worldwide. Everyone's going, okay, obviously something is here. She's been clinging to this defamation claim, saying, oh, well, I'm suing them for defamation, and this is not true. And Brigitte's world, therefore, came crashing down because that was her only effective PR strategy. That was the only thing that they used to dissuade the rumors that she was born a man. It was an absolute farce of a lawsuit, which relied upon the public not knowing the details of the lawsuit at all. In short, the lawsuit was not about whether or not she was born a man, okay? That's not the claims of defamation that she was bringing against them. But rather, it was very particular, and it was about whether or not Natasha Ray and Amandine Roy misspoke when Natasha said that a document that they had received throughout their investigation appeared to her to be fraudulent. I mean, they were getting really petty. She basically was like, if you make a mistake, I'm going to sue you for defamation. And of course, when you're working with people who won't answer basic questions, you are bound to make little mistakes. But like I said, Brigitte's entire PR strategy hinged upon public ignorance. And then the public ignorance went away when I did the Becoming Brigitte series, because people realized you only have to get 1 episode into that thing, okay? You realize these are not outlandish allegations. These are not allegations coming from the quote-unquote far right or the quote-unquote far left. These are not allegations that are coming from deep on a Reddit feed, okay? This is the reality. It is a couple in reality that has been involved in way too many pedophilic scandals, okay? Scandals that are related.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is fast forward because I do not wish to play the entire video. So I'm just going to fast forward to close to the end of where she starts discussing it because I really want you to hear what else she has to say. And if you want to watch the full video, by all means, just go to her podcast, Candace Owens. So let me start right here.
It's all very irresistible. And shout out to my PR person for giving the statement when I refused to give a statement. I just read this. What did Mitchell say? He said in a statement, Candace repeatedly requested an interview with Brigitte Macron. The statement said, instead of offering a comment, Brigitte is resorting to trying to bully a reporter into submission. In France, politicians can bully journalists, but this is not France, it's America. It's absolutely true. We're not going to shut up. You're not going to bully us. Frankly, I find this all to be irresistible and delicious. The lawsuit is just, it's what we could just go a lot of places here. The discovery alone is going to be out of this world. We would be required to depose President Donald Trump, getting to the bottom of that conversation. I bet there were cameras. Maybe we'd be able to get, maybe he was wired. I don't know. Maybe we could actually hear what you said. You sound pretty panicked. I don't know. When I got the phone call, same day, definitely had to have been urgent. Certainly wasn't an afterthought. Same day that you were here, I got the phone call. So what's going on? Which, by the way, he acknowledges that the phone call happened in this filing. My lawyer being able to sit across and ask Brigitte Macron questions about her penis. Brigitte would then be compelled for the first time to answer them under oath, again, for the first time, because you've just been ditching and dodging and going after people that are powerless, people that have cancer, literally Natasha Ray, for misspeaking on one statement that she made. Yeah, that's the real bullying that has taken place. And I have to tell you that you have definitively met your match. I cannot stand corruption. I cannot stand people that think they have the power to use and abuse people and then call up their rich homies in the press, right? Powerful homies in the press and say, go after this person. I don't like that. I don't like the attack dogs that you're sending around. It's very obvious because you played the game this morning. Like I said, you sent this lawsuit because you wanted to smear me, and it's not going to work. Okay, you've met your match. And in case you haven't checked what time it is, this is not the world that you grew up in. People are tired of this. Okay, you're paying attention to what's happening with Epstein, what's going on here. We are revolting against this. We're revolting against the perverts that run the world. And I want to be very clear here. I count you among them. I think you're sick. I think you're disgusting. And I am fully prepared to take on this battle on behalf of the entire world. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. On behalf of the entire world, I will see you in court. Anyways, throwing it to some of our sponsors before we get into a couple of up.
Okay, let's stop. And I'm going to stop sharing because, as I mentioned, if you'd like to see the entire podcast, you can go to Candace Owens' podcast on YouTube. But as you can see, she's fired up. She says she's out to save the entire world from perverts because Candace says she is tired of corruption and sickos. And she mentioned our current president, President Donald Trump, who used to be one of her friends because she was all with the Republicans, just spewing bad behaviors about the Black community. Totally. Just a lot of podcasters were in awe about what Candace Owens thought at that time. But after her firing, she appeared to attempt to rebrand herself. And as you can see now, she's out to save the entire world from perverts. And she's flexing her muscles and she is ready to go. And she's waiting for the discovery. She is telling them to bring it on. Bring it on, President and First Lady of France, Brigitte, the Macrons. She's ready. So it's interesting. And some are saying that they think this is probably going to be thrown out of court, but only time will tell. We will see what's going to happen. And her series seems to be resonating with some because she's getting some good reviews about what she's doing. Apparently, some people are loving it. But it will be interesting to see how this lawsuit plays out with her being sued. And it appears she's also now going after President Trump on the Epstein case, which a lot of people are saying now that MAGA is backing away because allegedly President Trump is in the Epstein files. But who knows? Will this all come out eventually? And because we all do know, I have to agree with her, there is corruption in the political system, a lot of corruption, and it's been going on. And we know that the truth may partially come out, but we wonder, will it ever come out? And why those files have not been released. So it's going to be interesting. But as Candace says, she is ready to take on the world because she is sick of corruption and she is sick of pedophiles. And watch my episode because I did do a podcast on Candace Owens when she was fired, episode number 107, right here on my channel, Aim to Purpose Spiritual Empowerment Hour. And Candace is going to end the world of these sickos. And looks like now she's aiming at the president that she's unfriended, that she used to be in love with, it all appeared. So with that said, again, I'm Louise Hicks, your host of this podcast, Aim to Purpose Spiritual Empowerment Hour. Please subscribe, leave your comments, and give it a like. Let's get more subscribers because I like to bring you content that we can explore and give our thoughts, use our critical thinking skills on what we think, because we know that this world is a chaotic mess. Not only is America, but the world, and we know America has been a chaotic mess since its inception when they brought the slaves over and made them work through horrific, all kinds of horrible, horrible, horrible atrocities. So please like, thumbs up, and I always tell you, your power lies within you. Let it loose. And with 2 Timothy 1:7, God has not, God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And if we could bring more love to the world, we would have a better world. But it appears lately that America is becoming like Babylon because it's so chaotic and so much going on. So always remember where your power lies. Just, we will see you again, Louise Hicks. We'll see you in the next video. Much love. And thank you again for all of your support. I really love you and I appreciate you. Bye for now.